No one wants to be called codependent, and yet a lot of people are codependent. In fact, the way that our society idealizes love, I think it really sets us up to be codependent. And if you're a man going through a divorce or after a divorce and you're really struggling to let go or move on, codependency might be a big part of the problem. And we know that until you understand the problem, it's really hard to fix it, right? So even though this topic might be really difficult or uncomfortable, I hope that you'll give this video a chance. Who am I to be talking to you about codependency? I'm Rachael Sloan. I'm a master NLP practitioner and a certified life coach, and I help men move on after divorce. That's my job. So in order to do that, I've had to find ways to help my clients free themselves from codependent patterns so that they can heal and let go and move forward into stronger, healthier relationships. And codependency is not just a problem for men in our society. It is definitely a problem for women too. And growing up as a woman in America, I also have struggled with my own codependent tendencies in relationships. So I have a pretty unique opportunity here and experience of being able to see what codependency is like for both men and women. In my coaching program, Better Beyond Divorce, I help my clients move past codependency, heal from divorce, let go, and really take back control of their future happiness. We do it through a step-by-step systematic process with lots of coaching and support along the way. If you're stuck after your divorce, then Better Beyond Divorce is the fastest and most effective way to move on. You can apply today. The details of the program and the link to the application are in the video description. I don't have to be the one to tell you that an unwanted divorce is excruciating. Even a divorce you chose can be excruciating, and it might feel like nobody really gets it, like people around you are kind of sick of hearing about it. But there's actually a lot of people going through the similar kind of intense loss. And I have a luxury that you probably don't have. I get to talk to a lot of them. And because I talk to so many men going through similar situations, I get to start to see patterns, places that a lot of them get stuck. And one of the patterns that I see a lot is codependency. Codependency is a particularly nasty issue too, if it's one of the ones that's holding you back, because it can leave you either completely embittered against women and living your life alone, or right back in the same kind of unhealthy, even toxic relationship patterns that led to your divorce in the first place. In this video, I'm going to talk about what codependency is, how to tell if you're struggling with it, the consequences of that, and also how to start to let it go and set yourself free. So what is codependency? Codependency is when your happiness, your self-esteem, or your self-worth is tied to how somebody else thinks and feels about you. Codependency puts you in a really painful position because your very well-being and sense of self are tied to what somebody else thinks and feels about you. And you can't control that, right? Which means that you may find yourself expending huge amounts of energy trying to change, trying to control what this other person thinks or feels about you. And all of that is futile. You can't change it. Right? Codependency is exhausting. Is any of this resonating for you? Do you find yourself still trying to change the way your ex-wife sees you or trying to change the way she behaves? Do you find yourself sinking into despair at every nasty or offhand remark she makes? Right? Those are signs that codependency is keeping you stuck. One of the primary causes of any anxiety is trying to control something that you can't control. And in the case of codependency, the attempt to control it, to change how the other person feels about you, at first, it creates a lot of anxiety. And then over time, as you fail to change the way that they see you or react to you, it leads to feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, despair, depression. And it's not uncommon with divorced men for those feelings to escalate into suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts. This is a really big deal. Codependency is incredibly damaging. And for divorced men, it can be fatal. Do I sound dramatic right now? Do you think I'm being dramatic? It might sound that way, but I talk to a lot of men, and probably several times a week, men talk to me about suicide. Their suicidal tendencies in the past, sometimes current suicidal thoughts. Sometimes it's so bad that it's a craving for the relief that they believe death would bring. Guys, this is serious stuff. This is what codependency can do to people. The despair that codependency creates is killing men. That is happening right now, and that is why it is so important that we have this conversation. So let's say that you survive that. You survive the initial despair, the desperation, the hopelessness. You make it through that part of your divorce. Then what? What happens if you don't shake the codependency? Well, for many people, they end up bitter, feeling bitter towards their ex, bitter towards women in general. In fact, I think for a lot of men, it's actually that bitterness that saves them from the despair. Because if you are codependent, you need the way she sees you, the way she feels towards you to change. But you can't change that, right? You're powerless. So there's despair, depression, suicidal thoughts. Anger is a lot better than that. It's a lot better to hate her than to need her to like you. Anger is a much safer emotion than despair, than depression. Being mad at her and hating her is far better, far safer than feeling a despair so deep that you consider ending your own life. And yet, it's not sustainable. Bitterness is exhausting. Anger takes an incredible amount of effort to sustain, and over time it wears you down. It wears down your mind, it wears down your heart, it wears down your body if you stick with it long enough. And maybe the worst thing about bitterness and anger is that it tends to leave you alone, right? If you're feeling that much anger and resentment towards women, it's really hard to imagine starting a new relationship. But some people escape that. Some people escape the bitterness and the anger, and they do start new relationships. But what happens if you haven't gotten rid of the codependency and you do find yourself in a new relationship? Well, at first, it's amazing. Right? Codependency in a new relationship is awesome. There is so much passion and love and excitement, and this person wants you, and that's exactly what you need. It's almost like taking a drug. Right? It's a drug that boosts your happiness, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, because that codependency feeds it. It's like, yes, this is what I've been needing. But it's not sustainable either, because once again, you're pinning your value, your worth, and your happiness on something you can't control in another human being. And unfortunately, human beings are pretty unreliable. Right? This new partner is a person. She's going to have bad days. She's going to have tired days. She has her own fears, her own patterns that maybe she hasn't worked through. And at some point, she's going to do something or say something or not do something or not say something that triggers that feeling of rejection in you. And when that happens, and you've been bringing all of that codependency into this new relationship, you're going to find yourself responding in the same ways you did in your marriage. Depends on who you are. Maybe for you that's withdrawing. Maybe it's lashing out in anger. Maybe it's anxiously pursuing her. Whatever that response is, you're going to easily get caught back in that same cycle and find yourself living out the very same patterns that led to your divorce in the first place. So codependency sucks, right? It's a really vicious thing. It makes healing from divorce really difficult, even dangerous, and it can either leave you embittered and alone or wreak havoc on new relationships. So let's figure out if you are struggling with codependency, and then let's talk about what you can do about it. So how do you know if this is part of your problem? There are a few things that I see pretty consistently from the men that I've talked to and worked with. So here are the most common signs I've seen of codependency for men after divorce. The first is strong feelings or overwhelming feelings of jealousy, or even a sense of like agony, imagining your ex-wife being with somebody new. A second one is constantly trying to change your ex's mind. Even when you know that it's over, that there's no hope, maybe she's even with somebody new, but you cannot stop trying to change the way she thinks and feels towards you. That's a sign of codependency. A third sign are any feelings of despair, hopelessness, depression after your divorce. If you are feeling like there's nothing you can do and you're powerless, that is a huge red flag that you're dealing with some codependent thoughts, patterns inside yourself. Fourth common sign that I see are ruminating thoughts that you cannot control. This one is so common for men after divorce, and it can be absolute torture. The brain is just constantly spinning around, what is she doing? Where is she now? Who is she with? What is she thinking? How is she feeling? And also about the marriage. What did I do wrong? Why did it happen that way? This is how it played out. This is what I should have done differently. I wish I could have, should have, would have, all of that. And it is exhausting, and it is agonizing, and it keeps you up at night. That is another big sign that there's some codependency happening. The fifth sign that I often see is a fear of new relationships. And the sixth is that feeling of bitterness or anger towards women. And that last one, the bitterness, is really important because I think a lot of people don't recognize that as a sign of codependency. They actually think that when they're getting bitter or angry towards women in general or towards their ex-wife, that they've like crushed codependency. I don't need her anymore. Now I'm mad at her. And it's not just men who do this. A lot of women do this as well. But bitterness is actually just the flip side. It's just another face of codependency. Codependency can make you love someone passionately, and it can make you hate them ferociously. They are two sides of the same coin. And it's not an improvement. You're not letting go of codependency with anger. If you are finding yourself disgusted by women or feeling angry or resentful towards women in general, that's a sign that you are still blaming them for your lack of happiness, for your low self-esteem, for your lack of self-worth. Right? And I know that's a hard thing to look at in yourself, and it is not just men who do this. So much of the anger that a lot of women project towards men is the very same thing. Right? It's that flip side of codependency. But if you really believed that you could create your own happiness, you wouldn't be bitter. There would be no need for it. If you're happy and you're confident and your sense of self-worth is unshakable and nobody can take that away from you because you own it completely, well, then no one can hurt you emotionally. And there is no need for anger or bitterness towards anyone. The bitterness is the same as the desperate longing and desire for their approval that you felt before. They are both just symptoms of codependency. And all of this maybe begs the question in your mind, it does for a lot of my clients, well, then what is love? Right? If it's not the powerful need to be with another person or to have their approval, be loved by them, to share a life with them, if I'm saying that those things are all codependency, then what is love? And this is such an important question. I would say that love is characterized by the fact that it's not conditional. Love is a warmth and affection that you feel for another person without needing anything back from them. And it's something that you feel. It's not something you create for them. It's something you feel towards them without needing anything back at all. As a society, I think we've largely confused the ideas of love and codependency. Think on this one for a moment. If I need you to think and feel a certain way about me in order for me to be happy or to feel valuable or to feel worthy, well, then I'm really invested in you having a certain set of thoughts and a certain set of feelings, right? I need you to be and feel and act in a certain way. And if you don't, that's really bad for me, right? Because now I can't be happy and I can't feel good about myself. But gosh, that's all pretty selfish, right? That's all about me. It's not very loving towards you. And there's really no room in there for you to just be you. I mean, I'm invested in you being a very certain way. And if you're not that way, well, then I'm not okay. And I need you to change. Right? Nothing in there is loving or accepting towards you. In fact, I'm not even allowing you to just be yourself. I'm saying that I love you. But what I mean is I need you. And this runs so deep, you guys. I mean, this is like the core of all the love stories in every movie and TV show and fairy tale. It's all about how much we need one another, and we call that love. So these are deep patterns. They're not so easy to just shake or get rid of. I hope I haven't thoroughly depressed you at this point. Yes, maybe many, maybe even most people struggle with codependency. And yes, codependency can ruin relationships and make moving on from your divorce really, really difficult. But there's hope. You can break free of this pattern. You can break free of codependency. You can move past this and into a state where you are happy, confident, and taking full ownership of how you feel and how you think. And from that place, you can enjoy healthy, secure, and even passionate relationships and a really bright, brilliant, happy future for yourself. And I can say that with confidence because I have seen it happen for many men who were in very similar situations to yours. So here's what I see when men overcome codependency. Here's some of the things that you can expect when you do that. Your self-confidence becomes unshakable. Yes, you make mistakes. You're human. We all do. But you're able to learn from your mistakes without berating yourself for them. You're able to really respect other people's needs and boundaries. And people find themselves drawn to you, including women. People are attracted to someone who is calm and grounded and clear and confident because they can be themselves around you. If I don't need something from you, you're free to be anything with me. You can break down, you can be happy, you can be angry, and all of that is okay. People find that incredibly attractive when they feel safe with you. When you overcome codependency, you're also able to feel the full range of emotions without getting overwhelmed by them and without losing your ability to choose how you respond. That's an amazing one. Your emotions can no longer hijack your actions or behaviors. You're able to ask for what you want with clarity and intention. You're able to ask for what you want and to pursue your goals with focus and clarity. You view setbacks as learning opportunities and not as failures. And you're able to enjoy a deep-seated sense of wholeness and self, a sense of who you are, even in moments of crisis, even in moments of grief and loss. So I hope you can see that breaking this habit, difficult as it might be, of codependency is something that's really worthwhile and worth doing. Freeing yourself from codependency is about a lot more than just love and romantic relationships. It has the power to revolutionize every area of your life, your career, your finances, your plans for the future, your relationship with children, with friends, with family. All of that is impacted, all of that is changed when you become this man who is calm and clear and confident and grounded and sure of himself and taking full responsibility for who he is and how he feels. You can be this man. All you have to do is unwire your mental habits of codependency and learn to take full responsibility, full ownership for how you think and feel. And a big part of that is discovering who you actually are. Who are you? Who are you outside of relationships? Who are you without these many identities that you've put on, these masks you've worn throughout your lifetime? That's exactly what I help my clients do inside Better Beyond Divorce. It's a 6-month-long intensive coaching program where I will help you systematically heal from your divorce and take back control of your future happiness. We can banish the bitterness and anger. We can move past the despair and the depression, and we can make your future whatever you want it to be. And it can have healthy, fulfilling, secure relationships without all of the agony that you're experiencing right now. So how does that all work specifically, and how do you get started? This video will show you the 6 steps of the Heartbreak to Happiness system, which is what you'll use if you work with me inside Better Beyond Divorce to break the codependent habit. It'll show you how to get started with the first couple steps on your own, and then if you decide you'd like to accelerate this process by working with me, it will also explain how to apply for coaching. Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and perhaps seeing you inside Better Beyond Divorce as well. If you found this video helpful, then you have to check out my free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. In that hour-long masterclass, I go into way more detail than I can cover on these YouTube videos about how specifically to start to heal, to stop the painful emotions, regain your confidence, and take back control of your future. I break it down into steps and give you a lot of actionable items that you can start using right now today to start feeling better. You'll find the link in the video description below under free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. I hope to see you on the masterclass and in the next video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.